Hello friends! So we're going to do a cooking tutorial today. I just wanted to show you I am in the second to largest house. I did expand my kitchen, so I've got 3 burners instead of 2. I do have the larger fridge, which means that if you look inside of it, it's got 136 filled out of 300, and that's ridiculous. I'm a hoarder, I admit it. But it's useful when putting together these tutorials so that we can go ahead and go through some different things here with the kitchen and not have any constraints about not having these items that are useful to cook with. So I'm just going to take out a couple of ingredients here just for the sake of the tutorial. Yeah. All right. So, one more. I think I'm going to do one more. All right. So when you first get your kitchenette, it's going to be during the tutorial. Doc Jr. is going to make it for you. You're going to start out with 2 burners and you can make 1 meal per burner. Let's do the breakdown of the recipe. Here you can see the fried egg recipe. Actually, it's not going to be one of the first ones you get. That will be stew, green salad, baguettes, and minestrone soup. So for the fried egg, it's lit up because the item that is required to cook it is in my backpack. However, you can just click on it to start. If you press over to the right, you can highlight the ingredient and choose to take things out of your storage or your fridge instead of the stuff that's in your hand. Now, there's a couple of things that I'd like to break down before we start making anything. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll get a picture of it just to the left of that. It tells you how many stamina hearts there are, and if there is a boost to it, like the stew gives you a 1 hour in-game hour boost with the little flame, means that it is protection against the cold. So the fried egg, I have 15 in my backpack. That's what that little icon there above the words fried egg on the right hand side says. And 0 in my storage. It takes me 2 minutes to make a fried egg, and the required ingredients show up underneath it. When I went into the substitutions, you could see any other egg that's available you can use to make the same thing. And so here's a couple of things that I wanted to show. First, we're going to make an egg out of our storage. Just one. And then on another burner, see, it's already done. That was super fast. So now we're going to make another egg out of our storage again. Oh, not that one. Out of our storage. And then it's the same amount of time. And basically, it's done too. So now we've got a couple of things to look at. And I probably didn't need to fry an egg because I have one right here. So these fried eggs are just basic fare. It is 1 full heart. If you were to eat a regular egg, it is a half a heart. You can see in my stamina down at the lower left corner, it only highlights 1/2 a heart. If you do this one, it is 1 whole heart. However, this one that was made with a Araucana egg, which is just a type of chicken. It's the brown chicken that you can get in the game once you've gotten far enough and upgraded culture level enough in Lecenbury. You can get one, and they lay these green eggs or green blue eggs, and you can see it's got a star next to it. So what the star means is it's a higher quality item because you used a higher quality ingredient. Now these are the ones you'll want to use when you're doing the festivals. And so if you do the expo and it's a cooking challenge and it's a fried item, fried eggs with a star should do pretty good because you used high quality items. At least in the beginner, you probably wouldn't even have to worry that bad about it. But that's an option. Now, let's look. The price of a fried egg is $66. The price of a regular chicken egg is $55. So just by spending that 2 seconds in-game cooking it, it went up 11 price points, but by substituting a higher quality egg, it is now 96, which means this higher quality egg lowered its price point down to 96. However, your one full heart now gives you one full heart and a half. So if you have a bunch of these Araucana eggs and you just want to use them as feeders, which is what I've been using these eggs for since the beginning of the game, you could substitute those instead. It'll just be more expensive to do so. Now, I just wanted to point out my milk here. It is half a heart for a regular cow and a full heart for Jersey milk, which is the brown cow. You can get that out of Herbsburg once you have unlocked. I think you have to be into the 4th star just a little bit before they offer it. So the higher quality items, the higher quality of the food that you're going to make. If you're looking for something specific, if right above the whole recipe list, you have that first icon is all recipes. This one is for chilled recipes that give you protection in hot areas like the desert or the volcano. They give you one in-game for this, but there are other recipes that give you more. Now, over here is the little flame icon. We already discussed that's protection against the cold. I think that all of mine are 1 hour. Oh, I can do truffle soup, which is one that I hunted down from the traveling merchants to purchase. And that is good for 2 hours instead of 1. I also got this energy gazpacho recipe, and that is the only one that I have that can help if you stay up all night and the next day you end up being sleepy, or if you just end up in the mine really, really late and you don't get to bed till like 4 o'clock in the morning, you wake up and you have the Z's coming out and you're hunched over. Drinking this will alleviate that status for 1 in-game hour. If you have any pets that increase the effectiveness of food buffs, then pet those animals and this 1 hour will increase. Now, it looks like these you cannot create because they're grayed out, but if you see it has the little switch symbol, the 2 arrows pointing to each other in a circle in that upper left-hand corner of each of these recipes, it means that I can create this simply by going in and choosing something out of my storage because it just wasn't available. So here's Doria. I like the Doria dish because I am getting a steady flow of milk. I don't make it that often because milk is a highly sought after necessary ingredient to cooking. It's also necessary in the future when you choose to have a child, which I have not yet, and I don't know if I'm going to. But if you look, it's got 2 rice, 1 wheat, and 1 milk. Now, each of these ingredients individually only give you 1/2 of a heart if you were to eat them. So if you eat the 2 rice, 1 wheat, and 1 milk by itself, then you would only have 2 hearts. Cooking this gives you 4 hearts, so that increases your 4 hearts. It also gives you a protection against cold. And let me show you one more thing. And this is another consideration you'll want to make before you start making things for food, because you can also use food for money. It's not necessarily going to be the fastest way to do it. It is also going to not necessarily be the easiest way to do it. But it is 2 rice, 1 wheat, and 1 milk. Let's take a look and see what the combination of that would be to ship, and then we'll see how much 1 single Doria is as an example for if you want to cook something in order to make money off of it. So these are the ingredients for Doria right here. Altogether, it's 264. So you don't have to do the math. You can have the game do it for you. One Doria by itself, shipping it, is 1,111. So you can either make it in order to increase your stamina, which is an overall increase. You can make it for the buff. You can make it for money because you will get more money than the ingredients combined. So there's a lot to consider when you're doing cooking. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to take Blueberry out here. We're going to go travel around and see all of the restaurants. That is primarily going to be where you buy your recipes. Now, I have obviously purchased several of the recipes already, but I haven't made a large effort in recipes, in gathering them right now, so that I can show you just basically where you're going to find the recipes. The ones that I use the most, the fried egg and the coffee, are located right here in Lecenbury. Beginner game, they're kind of important, so as soon as you open up your recipes, you may be tempted to purchase them, but you can always wait until the store has a sale and then purchase them so they're not quite so expensive, because in the beginning part of the game, it's a little more difficult to come across money than it would be later on. And the nice thing is you can see any of these items, what buffs they give you, but obviously you can't see what ingredients are required until you purchase the recipe. By the way, the hard cheese is going to be located here. The butter is going to be located here. And all of these are going to be important things to unlock culture levels in other areas. So next we will go into our summer town, Lilicala. And here in Lilicala, we will run over to the restaurant here. And talking right here to Kate, she's going to be the one that you can purchase these recipes from. So let me go through that a little less quickly. These are going to be a lot of the juice recipes, and I do have a lot of these that I've already purchased, and mostly because they are very useful, especially the coconut juice recipe I bought as soon as I unlocked the town and unlocked its recipes, because it gives you protection against heat, and that is very useful when trying to explore the volcano, which becomes more important later on in the game, but does allow you some valuable access points even early in the game as soon as you drop the wall in Lilicala. Now, a couple of call-outs that are important. Aside from that coconut drink, which gives you the 1 hour buff protection against heat, other things that you can get here is the jumbo fish recipe, jumbo grilled fish recipe, which is necessary to unlock the Big Fish Festival. And I've already bought that one, obviously, because I've unlocked Lilicala. You can see the culture level here is past the 4 stars. Now we will head to Herbsburg, which is my current farming home. Now this is one where at first glance you don't have a restaurant, and that's true, it's not in a restaurant, but to unlock the music festival here in the game, you don't need a restaurant, you need the inn. The inn in here is going to be where you find all of your Herbsburg recipes. Now, I've only bought the Doria and a couple of the recipes that have been requests. So here is what they look like and the prices that you're going to be looking at. I can show you the ones that I have, but as you can see, I really do need to spend more time fishing to increase my money so that I can buy more of those recipes. Next, we'll head to the Winter City Zimagrad, or Zimagrad, I guess. I'm not sure how to pronounce these names. Zimagrad, maybe? Go ahead and comment below on how you think it should be pronounced for all of these names. I could be getting them all wrong. But the restaurant's right here. Sometimes if you're lucky, Brandon's hanging out over here and you can buy special recipes from him. He's one of the traveling merchants. You can tell which ones they are because they wear the really big, heavy backpacks. And if he's hanging out in this town, you can buy the truffle recipe from him, is where I got that truffle stew. This one I have barely touched at all. I have got some recipes, but like I haven't even done the chocolate or the hot chocolate. The cheese fondue is necessary for one point in the game, but you can purchase it, and I wouldn't. It's expensive. But you also, if I remember right, can get it as a reward from a request, which is how I got it, and then I passed it in to unlock that. But you do have most of your au gratin recipes here. A lot of that's going to use the hard cheese that is going to be found in Lecenbury. Now the last restaurant we're going to check is going to be in Providence. And finally, I'm going to show you what it's like trying to hunt down the traveling merchants and what you'd be getting yourself into so that you know how to prepare money-wise when you're ready to start hunting them down to buy their recipes. Now, of all of the places that you can get recipes, the most expensive is going to be the traveling merchants, and they can be very difficult to hunt down. When they are in their home area, they don't sell. They just talk to you and ask for requests. So it's not a bad idea to leave a request undone from one of them while they're traveling so you can get an exclamation point where they're at. So here I did buy the strawberry jam. It is one of the Harvest Goddess favorite items. I have not figured out how to hand it to her. If you guys have, please comment below and let me know how to give the Harvest Goddess her strawberry jam that I made her. So, plenty of options even here, and there will be more that unlock once I get this town past the 3 stars, but I just barely unlocked being able to increase their reputation past the 3 stars. Once I finish getting Herbsburg to 5, I'm probably going to move back move here so that I can more easily increase their culture level so that I can unlock some more of their things. So here's the big mess. Yeah, here I have the DLC, so this is one of the DLC requests. That's why I have a blue item on here. Now, if we look here, we can click on tracking Brendan's request, and he is, if you look, right down here. So normally his hometown is going to be in here. So if we want to check out Brandon, we just have to go around right here. So after he asks me for coconut, I can talk to him again, and he has a lot of rare items, which again I would not purchase just because of how expensive they are, and a lot of these you can search for, with exception of these tree fruit things, and I will include a link to be able to hunt down the tree fruit, at least to give you not an exact map since it's not mappable on the dock pad, but at least so that you can see the ones that are going to be trackable are going to be the mushrooms, like things that are on the ground that you can pick up while you're mounted on your horse, or in this case, dinosaur. If it's in a tree, you have to dismount to shake the tree to get the harvest of the items. But as you can see, take a look at these prices. The truffles au gratin, 10,000. The watermelon gazpacho, 2,000. Stargaze pie is 5,000. But that one is another one that has the sleep protection against sleep deprivation. So depending on if you have no other options, hunting down Brandon may be something that you'll want to do. Now, generally, Nemo is only going to be out on the weekends, and I wanted to do this on a Thursday because we're going to have 2 of them out this time. So Nemo's going to be in the flower shop. However, I don't think I have any gunner requests. That's okay. I know where he's at. I was just hoping that I could show you how much easier it is if you have a request from them to find them. But we're going to go over here to the Lost Desert. And this is why I'm taking Blueberry. He has no problems running around in the desert. And over here is Gunner. Now, Nemo has the fewest amount of recipes. He tends to travel out around the area, the wild areas around Providence. So if he's not in his shop, you can probably find him either in the breezy plains or on the forest on the east side of Providence, generally right around in those areas. So you can see these are much more expensive. I cannot afford these, but if you look, I probably could if I really buckled down and focused on money. They have a much larger increase to stamina and 7 hours worth of protection on this one, which if you have one of the pets that can increase the time that your buff stays, you can get this energy punch recipe, eat it once, pet your animal that gives you the increased buff status, and be good basically all day. So we can get the energy jam recipe. That isn't necessarily a bad idea because it only, if I remember right, requires 1 energy pineapple. And I think I can even show you what it looks like here. See, you could buy them from him. Any of these are simply just hybrids of the basic pineapple that you can purchase or find in the Lily Kala area. I believe the energy pineapple you have to grow in the desert oasis or in the harvest goddess to get an energy pineapple. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've tried to get hybrids. I may make a hybrid tutorial later or a giant crops. Leave me a message and tell me which one you prefer. But that's basically where you're going to find all of the recipes that are not going to be the ones that you automatically get in the beginning from the tutorial, or that I haven't purchased already because they're used in other things. So the important thing with cooking is you need to stay focused on the things that you are trying to accomplish. So, for example, if I needed let's go with the jumbo grilled fish. This is one you're going to be required to open the big fish in Lily Kala, the Big Fish Festival. If you click on it, you can see I don't have a Dorado, but if I click on the Dorado, my mahi mahi works just fine. And if I were to make it with a mahi mahi, see how it only has the 4 hearts on it? This is only a 10-minute recipe, so we'll cook it real fast. So the regular jumbo fish recipe has 4 stamina hearts that it provides. It requires 1 fish. The mahi mahi extends it to 6, and you get a starred dish. So if you have an expo item that is, grilled items or fish items, you can use this and it will be a lot better for you because I used a 1-star fish. The larger the starfish, the more increase to the stamina would be, the more increase if you were to ship it, and the more stars that you would get on the dish. The dishes like this one that require multiple items, if you increase them using high quality items for all of the items, you can get more than 1 star, and it increases its stamina. Not necessarily that 1 minute of protection against cold, but just so a few things you need to consider when you're doing cooking. So if you're cooking for money, make sure you take the items that you're willing to sell. Make sure that you check their prices when you sell them by themselves, and then you can make a save just by hitting your game settings, go into save first, and then that way if you have to reload, you can then cook it and then check the price in your shipping box if you're cooking for money. If you're cooking for stamina, it's usually pretty easy. You just take a look at the number of hearts that you would get from eating each raw ingredient, and then you have to take special attention to the Jersey milk or the Araucana because it's a full heart instead of a half heart. And then just consider the number of ingredients, the amount of time that it takes to cook, and how many stamina hearts you get from the cooked items. So for example, the game makes it sound like baguettes are the way to go when you are first in the game, but having the 2 wheat at half a heart, that just means for 30 minutes of in-game time, you are without the benefit of the 2 wheat you could have eaten raw and gotten the same benefit from. Plus, the value just isn't there when you think about it for the stamina. However, it is highly useful in getting your traveling merchants to leave the villages. If you were to sell 2 of these, you're at 88. However, we'll go ahead and make one and see what the price does. And that's how I tell if I have a bunch of items that I just want to clean out of my fridge, and if I need money and that's what I'm focused on, I will just make a save. I will cook it in whatever recipes I'm willing to cook to get rid of the items to try to make some money off of it. You gotta wait the time. The better you are at cooking something, so the more often that you cook something, the faster that it will go. And a good example for that is the coffee that I make. I tend to make a lot of coffee, either cold or warmed. So this one I am a much better cook with because it only takes 7 minutes. But if you look at my cold iced coffee here, that one's only 4. So if I am making it just for the stamina and not for the buff, I should make the iced coffee. It is 1 coffee bean and it causes the same amount of stamina. And if the buff doesn't matter, like if it's hot or cold protection doesn't matter because I use my clothes instead, iced coffee would be the way to go because it's only 4 minutes. Now, one thing that I also want to show here is in your encyclopedia, this is a good way for you to tell if you have cooked something, if you're working on the cooking achievement. You can go down and see how many times cooked, But for example, this fish au gratin, I got it as a quest reward at the very beginning during the tutorial. I've never cooked it. I never bought the recipe and cooked it. So even though I showed the icon here, if you have all of the pictures up and you don't know what you haven't cooked, check the fish au gratin just by coming in here and checking times cooked, which is under the ability newbie. And if we go over the coffee, I am ability advanced. I have cooked this item over 130 times. And here on the iced coffee, I'm intermediate. I've cooked it 45 times. So you can see by the number of times that you cook them, you increase your ability level, and that lowers the amount of time that it takes to cook. Now here we've got our baguette. Let's go see what it says to ship it. And that will be the last thing that I just wanted to go over with you for this tutorial. If you have any questions for me about any recipes you've seen in here, or if you are missing a recipe, or if you just have any questions about cooking in general. Also, if you have any suggestions or requests for things that I go over. Yeah, so this is 121 by itself. And remember, 2 of these are only 88. So by cooking it, wasted 30 minutes of time. However, we got, 41 extra gold here for cooking it. So if you're have a ton of wheat, you want to get rid of it, but you want to make money doing that, might be worth it to make a huge stack of baguettes just to throw into the shipping bin. So that's the last thought that I just wanted to have you consider while doing your cooking. There's several things that you might be cooking for. It could be stamina, it could be the buff, it could be money, or it could be the achievement. And finally, it could be the festival, as well as requests. So those 6 items are considerations you want to make. Just try to make the best decisions that you can when you're making them. High quality doesn't necessarily bring you anything, except it can increase rewards in requests, and it can help you with your expo, as well as increase the number of stamina points. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.